Hello everybody, Simon Dixon here, and today I'd like to do something slightly different. I'd like the bulk of the content to actually be you in the comments, in the Twitter, comments or whatever. And today I'd like to discuss and hear your opinions and your perspectives on what happened to the @Bitcoin Twitter account. I guess I'm indulging myself in a bit of gossip, but I'd love to hear your perspective so that I could crowdsource to the community what they think happened and your perspective and your opinions. To give some context and background, @Bitcoin was a Twitter handle that started in approximately August 2011 and now has close to 1 million followers and is a very popular Twitter handle. My original thought and perspective was that nobody knows who actually owns it. I thought, my speculation without much behind it, was that it was owned by Gavin Andresen, who was the first developer that Satoshi Nakamoto handed the project over to when he left the Bitcoin project. And it seemed to me that the timing was right for Gavin Andresen to acquire that Twitter handle. And that was my speculation. During more recently, or the last couple of years, the @Bitcoin Twitter handle went from tweeting lots of interesting things about Bitcoin and evangelizing for Bitcoin to being very detrimental about Bitcoin and pushing an alternative hard fork called Bitcoin Cash. And the rhetoric very much changed, and @Bitcoin was used as a tool to really promote Bitcoin Cash and claim that Bitcoin Cash, which was a hard fork of Bitcoin, is the real Bitcoin. And this is obviously very confusing to new people because also the domain bitcoin.com is owned by somebody that believes, Roger Ver, that believes that Bitcoin Cash is the true Bitcoin. I'm not here to get into the politics. I personally know Roger Ver, and I believe that his intentions are that he believes that Bitcoin Cash has the best shot of servicing the world and delivering more economic freedom as peer-to-peer electronic cash. However, there was a debate out there where I debated him in Tokyo. Wasn't much of a debate actually, but if you put in YouTube Simon Dixon Roger Ver debate, I gave a presentation on my history and involvement in crypto and why I favor Bitcoin BTC as opposed to believing that Bitcoin Cash is more like Bitcoin. I don't want to get into the debate here today, but what I wanted to do is actually find out your perspective on what happened to the @Bitcoin Twitter, because if you've been following it, you'll notice that it suddenly had a switch in gear more recently, as Bitcoin Cash has performed poorly relative to Bitcoin just in terms of price. More and more adoption has happened in Bitcoin, and there's been a general focus in the cryptocurrency industry towards Bitcoin being the only decentralized one and the one that operates more like a commodity, whereby it doesn't really have a central planner, central promoter, and is more likely to achieve the commodity-like properties of something like gold, simply because although it is a payment system as well, it requires no door that you can knock on to take it down. And Bitcoin has achieved that to the highest extent, which is why it's the first and still the world's best shot we've ever had at achieving sound money. However, the rhetoric changed recently. The @Bitcoin handle stopped following many of the prominent Bitcoin Cash followers, or it stopped following some of the prominent Bitcoin Cash people. It also deleted many of its tweets that were very Bitcoin Cash centric. And it changed the link from linking to bitcoin.com to linking to the white paper, the Satoshi Nakamoto white paper for Bitcoin, but on bitcoin.org. So for those of you that don't know the politics, bitcoin.org was one of the very first websites that was used to promote Bitcoin. And over time, Roger Ver acquired the bitcoin.com domain, which is his company, which he uses to promote his products and evangelize for Bitcoin Cash. But it's very confusing, obviously, when a new person comes to bitcoin.com or goes to @Bitcoin on Twitter and it's telling them about Bitcoin Cash, which is not Bitcoin, it's an alternative to Bitcoin. And therefore it can be very confusing to people. But now @Bitcoin has changed its link to the white paper on bitcoin.org, which is a website used to promote BTC. Over time, people have said that the people controlling it has changed, and it's all very mysterious and full of interesting speculation. So what I wanted to find out from you is your perspective on what you think has happened to the @Bitcoin Twitter. Who do you think owns it? What do you think happened? Has it been hacked? Has it been changed ownership? Has somebody sold it? Has the person that actually controls it flip-flop between believing in Bitcoin to believing in Bitcoin Cash to going back to believing in Bitcoin? And what's your perspective? Maybe you've got some interesting research that you can do, and anyone that's interested in the subject can look at some of the comments and threads and see and give their perspective on what they actually think happened to the mystery of the @Bitcoin Twitter handle. So I look forward to reading your comments and links and everything throughout the day to see if we can shed more light on what happened to @Bitcoin. So I'm going to get back to work now, working with companies building the future of finance, and look forward to this. If you could retweet, if you could share, if you could comment, I'd like to get more and more people in the community to see this so that they can share their perspective, and we can get to the bottom of it if possible. So that's me over, and I'll see you in the next one.